As the winter sun rises slowly over La Ciotat in the south of France, we retrace the steps we took in 2013 to visit La Ciotat shipyards and the premises of refit specialists Compositeworks. La Ciotat is ideally placed between Marseille to the west and Toulon to the east, and has enjoyed a long history of shipbuilding. The picturesque harbour seems almost too small to accommodate the mighty ships that were launched here during the 60s and 70s, but launch them they did. When competition from the Far East destroyed the local shipbuilding industry, a boycott by former workers preserved the massive infrastructure here and allowed a thriving superyacht hub to form instead. At the heart of this hub is Compositeworks, founded in 1998, are one of 34 specialist companies based on site. The site itself is run as a cooperative by Semidep, a government-funded company that maintains the communal facilities including the 2,000-ton Synchrolift and the 335-metre dry dock. With Compositeworks recently completing its 800th refit, we asked Operations Director Rob Papworth how the company was performing.
We did have a sort of slightly static period for a couple of years, and now we've definitely moved on again. This year we're due to increase our turnover by around 20%, which is, a pretty decent jump in the state of the market right now. We've seen an increasing amount of American clients. We believe that a lot of the difference comes from people really beginning to trust in the refit industry as a whole, and there's a group of yards, I think, that people are beginning to trust as much as new build yards, and the scope of works being done now in refit yards is becoming increasingly large, whereas before people were definitely taking vessels for modifications back to the new build yards. There are a lot of vessels on the market at the moment, and people are doing modification works to low cost purchases. The large yards are very full at the moment, and people with 80 metre plus boats, if you want a new 80 metre plus boat from a reputable yard, it's quite likely you'll have quite a long wait, and people in that kind of market that decide that they want a new cinema or a new swimming pool or whatever, they're not going to wait 5 years to get it on their new boat, and so they're doing those modifications right now. We at Compositeworks have certainly seen a lot of growth in the 80 plus metre market and the 100 plus metre market as well.
In fact, fitting new or improved swimming pools has become something of a speciality at Compositeworks, and John Stott, the in-house naval architect, showed us a current project.
We have here a shot on the screen of the original pool, which is quite shallow and has limited capacity in terms of people and water, and we've been asked to increase the size by about double, and we've overcome the issues of stability, which is often the problem that these pools have, by putting a large storage tank down in the bottom, in the bowels of the boat, where the water goes and remains in condition and temperature ready for use. We've also looked at the issue of the water spillage over the sides, which is a common problem with vessels, especially smaller craft like this, by putting a large drain gutter in the sides of the pool, which will cope with the rolling of the vessel and the water spilling over the edges, and pump the water back into the pool on a continuous basis.
A lot of our growth has been due to the quality that people saw in our paintworks, and historically we've had a lot of paint jobs. In fact, this year and a little bit the trend for the last 2 years is we've actually had less paint jobs, even with the growth in our turnover, which has mainly been due to the fact that we've been taking on more technical jobs, so larger jobs, extensions, superstructure modifications, interior modifications, and those kind of works. And so we've done less of the smaller paint-only type refits. Obviously we're still doing some big projects. We're doing an 80 metre now and another 65 metre. But yeah, with the increase in the larger jobs, it's become less of a major factor in our turnover.
One recent project has been the 5-metre extension of this Explorer yacht, which was achieved in record time thanks to 3D scanning.
The owner had a fixed date in his schedule where he wanted the boat to be, wasn't able to move, and so in fact we had 3 months to do this job, which was a big job. We were able to scan the boat with a digital scanner and then start prefabricating the parts on the site, so when the boat arrived we were able to cut the existing transom off and then bring the part towards the vessel once it was hauled out. But yeah, 3 months was pretty tight with the machinery installation inside, the painting and everything, but yeah, it's possible with good planning.
In 2013 we had seen 2 projects dwarfed by the dry dock, but in January 2016 the dock was empty and undergoing a €16 million shortening. A new sail was being put in to reduce the length.
I think the idea is that it will make this dry dock more attractive because it's more usable and more up to date. Obviously at the same time they're modernising it and making better services and updating all of the electrical supplies and the logistical parts, and they've changed the geometry of the quay to be better suited to superyacht, so it will be a more modern facility to mirror those in other places. But the main advantage really is to gain some extra quay space here for the boats, because we're so often full here now in La Ciotat. Space is at a premium, which 15 years ago was very hard to believe that we would ever fill the yard up.
Having enlarged and restructured its technical team, and with a big investment in crew facilities, Compositeworks is looking forward to a busy year. But in the yachting industry that doesn't rest, nor can the refit sector.
We're very conscious of as a yard is that you can't stand still, you can't say, it's gone great and it's this, and you have to keep investing in new materials, the latest technologies. We just bought a 3D scanning machine this year so that we could scan our boats, so that we could cut down times. And if you don't invest in these new technologies and offer the best facilities and technologies to the boats, then people will overtake you. And I think it's a natural part of the whole package that is essential to attracting clients to the yard.